My name is God's Gift, God's Messenger. You're watching Christ Light Magazine, and today I'll be reporting on mind control and the different last names of mind control holders or mind control programmers. Well, mind control is something that the Nazis was working on during World War II, and in fact, the concentration camps were in actuality the laboratories of these different scientists who were working on controlling people's minds. The ability to read a person's thought, the ability to control a person, control a person's thoughts, and the ability to control a person's mind and make them do what you want them to do. And so you had after the World War II, the U.S. government had imported over 700 of these scientists. 400 were scientists dealing with the mind, who went on to work for NASA and also to work in universities and to work in banks and different places like that. These are mind control holders, people who implement programs in human beings' minds, and then the other portion of them went on to work in different places. But it was 700 German Nazi scientists that the U.S. brought over into the U.S. after the World War II was over with, because they believed that, hey, if we better get them before, America, not we, because I'm not included in that we, but America needs to get these scientists before, Russia gets the scientists. So America brought them over, and then they began to implement a program with the CIA and with the FBI called the Monarch mind control program. And usually, and also they begin to implement the paperclip program. And in the mind control, what they do is that they use various traumatic experiences, shock treatment, drugs, a lot of sexual trauma and stuff like that to break your mind down from its individual way of thinking. And then they implement these programs, and then they have trigger words, so a lot of these women nowadays, you see them all the time. You see, they're going around and they're wearing cheetah imprints, leopard imprint clothing. The clothes that they're wearing is because they've been programmed with the sex kitten program. The sex kitting program makes them a sex slave to the Illuminati, and they're traded off, and they've been given an altered personality. And so as a sex kitten program, they have triggers. These triggers are often suckers. If you have a lollipop, that's a trigger for somebody that's been programmed as a sex slave. Certain words like cum or dick, those words, Robert, the name Robert can be a trigger for some of these programmed sex slaves. Colors can be a trigger: pink, purple, green. Smells can be a trigger. Certain fragrances can be a trigger for sex slaves. Certain advertisements like Skittles, or golf can be a program. You see the person with the golf stick hit the ball, the golf stick being the phallus or the penis, hit the ball goes in a hole being the woman's vagina. These things are triggers, actual triggers that will make people who are programmed with the sex kitten program, have sex. And so you could be having a conversation with somebody, and you actually see them want to perform sex on you. Why? Because you said some of their trigger words, and they have, different programs like the golf program or the zombie program or the sex kitten program. And these different programs actually have been implanted in certain human beings' brains, and they're controlled by these programs, and these programs have been implemented by what we call mind controllers or or control handlers. You know what I mean? And these handlers hold the keys to their slaves. So and if you and so the handler would sell the slaves to celebrities. That's why you see Tom Cruise getting divorced so many times, and Elizabeth Taylor getting divorced so many times. The divorce is a mockery in Hollywood. Why? Because the sex slave was sold to that person for that amount of time, and then now the divorce has to take place, and so that sex slave can go be sold to somebody else. The sex slave is sold to the celebrity if the celebrity agrees to marry. Why? Because they want to discredit the institution of marriage. The Illuminati wants to discredit the institution of marriage because marriage represents the church of God. It represents what God put together. The Bible says, "What God put together, let no man tear apart." And Christ said out of his own mouth, He says, "Husbands, love your wives as if I love the church." So church represents God. The marriage represents God, and so the Illuminati tries to discredit what God put together, which is the church, a matrimony which is marriage, which is the church, a matrimony between God, man, and woman. And so, sex slaves have triggers. Some of these triggers, are words like come with me, or you're welcome, come well, or hello. Hello is the primary trigger word for all people who are controlled by the matrix system. Hello basically means come into my world. Come into my world. Now you're being identified by the system as a fictitious person, and you come into the world of the matrix. And in that world, there are trigger words that trigger you to do certain behaviors, like have sex, or to get angry and want to kill somebody, or to get angry or want to fight somebody. They're trigger words. And these controllers, mind controllers or mind handlers, hold the keys to, or the triggers to these slaves of the matrix system. And so, some of I'm exposing some last names of some mind control holders or some mind control programmers. And one of the last names of a mind control programmer is Kissinger. Remember, Henry Kissinger was the primary scientist during the Nazi Reich, and he was pretty much imported into America and used as a scientist to actually teach what was going on in the Nazi camp. So Kissinger, if you decipher that or decode Kissinger, it means Kissinger is spelled Kissinger. Well, if you decode it or decipher it, it means kiss, like you give somebody a kiss, which is sexual, right? And come in to my program with a kiss. Kissinger. Kiss in. And then the Ger means that he's an engineer of creating sex bots or sex slaves for the Illuminati. Kissinger. Kiss engineer. Kiss engineer. Kiss in. Come into my sex program with a kiss. That's why, if you were a worker, and this is for the people who know what UCC is about and how they use people's straw mans to retrieve UCC money, is sealed with a kiss. After you make a deal, it's sealed with a kiss, or it's sealed with a sexual intercourse. To make a deal of a big transaction for money. And so Kissinger is one of the last names of a monarch holder or a monarch mind controller. Stripling is another name of a last name of a mind controller. It means to strip a person of their identity and bring them in to the system. Again, in means come into the system of the matrix, and in is also abbreviated for engineer. So they're engineers to strip a person from their identity, thus creating, implementing programs of the matrix programs into the person so that they become a slave of the Illuminati. There's a lot of unknowing slaves of the Illuminati, people that really don't know that they've been programmed. You know what I mean? And so, this is some of the last names of program controllers. Johnson is a program controller. Sons of John. Remember, in their new age religion, Johnson is actually a man who was not John in the Bible, John the Baptist, or John who wrote the book of Revelations, but another John who was a pagan. And he was a hierarchy in the pagan society, and they worshiped the doctrines of John. And so Johnson promotes religious dogmas, and he also implements implants of zombie. Zombie is a computer program that makes a person do something against their will. It makes a person violent. It makes a person want to kill. It makes a person want to steal. Those are zombies. It makes a person do drugs, and they don't even know why they want to do drugs, why they got a craving to do drugs. It's because they have the program zombie implemented in them that's making them want to do drugs, that's making them want to have sex with prostitutes, that's making them want to be homosexual, that's making them want to, and there's trigger words that makes these things happen. And so Johnson is a common last name of but it's the last name of a mind controller. A mind controller. So Rodriguez is also the name of a mind controller. Cross. Anyone with the name Cross, they're with the last name Cross, they're from a family of mind controllers. And so Cross. Why? Because you've been double crossed. Some of the names, the synonymous to cross is Crossfield. Anyone with the name Crossfield, they are mind controllers or monarch handlers. They hold the keys to a lot of slaves. The playing field of the Matrix. Cross, you've been double crossed. Crossed your genes from being human to robotic or slave of the Illuminati, or a computer for the Illuminati. Crossman is a last name of of these mind controllers or mind control handlers. And Crossman is basically saying you're crossing up man. You're crossing man. You're crossing the genetics of man. You're breaking down their conscious, and then you're implanting these systematic programs. Crossenberger. Again, engineer from the Billenberger group. They're engineers, and they cross people up. You know what I mean? They cross people up. Also, Compton. Compton is a last name of a computer programmer. I have an auntie. Her name is Linda Compton. She actually tried to brainwash me and program me. And Compton, if you decipher that or if you decoded it, it says computer on. Compt. COMT. COMPT. Compt on. Computer is on. ON. So the people with the last name Compton, their job is to control you or to reprogram you. Sometimes because Christ, Jesus Christ, can deprogram a person very fast. Why? Because all of this stuff is demonic. All of the Illuminati are just fallen angels, which are really demons, which people are led to believe are aliens, but they're really demons. And the Illuminati, they're afraid of Jesus Christ because Jesus Christ is Lord. You know what I mean? Gardner is the last name of a control holder. They plant gardens into people's minds. Computer programs. Garden is a code word for a program. And Bender is a control is a last name for control handlers or control controllers, mind controllers, and they bend a person and they bend them back into the program. They reprogram a person. You're watching Christ Side Magazine. Hopefully I was able to provide a piece of the puzzle. Remember, Pass this information on. God bless you. Break free from the matrix in the name of Jesus Christ.